Shalom everyone, it's called Torah, it's Tuesday at noon, and this week we'll talk about the Parashat Ki Tavo, meaning when you will come, when you will enter the land of Israel. And one of the first topics that the Torah discussed is Parashat Bikurim. It's the subject matter of bringing the first fruits, what it's called Bikurim, to the temple. And the farmer brings his first fruits that were produced by him, and he brings it to the temple. And really there are two mitzvot here. One mitzvah is to bring physically the first fruits, and the second mitzvah is what we call the vidui bikurim, the confession, or in a way a proclamation of our Jewish history that we all, by the way, know and recite during Leil Seder, during the Passover night. But really, this is not my discussion for today. My discussion for today is one sentence in the Torah that I think will be very relevant to our days. The pasuk said, the verse says, "Ve'amarta el hashofet asher yeh bayamim ha'em," and you shall say to the judge that will be in those days. And obviously the Talmud asked a very simple question. What does it mean in those days? What do you think? You can go to a judge that was there 50 years ago? He's dead. Obviously you go to the judge that is there today. So what does it mean that you will go to the judge in this day? So the Gemara answers a fascinating answer. The Gemara says, Al tomar, you shall not say that today's judges are not as great as the ones that used to be years ago. Don't live your life like that. You need to know that Ein lecha shofet, that you shall have the judge that is in your days. He is the judge for you. Don't say that the early days were better than these days. Every generation has his own judge, has his own leader, has his own rabbi that leads that generation. This statement of the Talmud is a very interesting one for many, many perspectives. One, obviously, this statement of the Talmud is a response to another statement in the streets. Basically, the people in the street says that, this leader, this rabbi, this judge, I remember the judge 50 years ago, they were much better. So there was already a concern from the public. And the rabbis respond and say, don't think like that, don't go there. You have the judge, you have the rabbi, you have the leader in these days. You need to respect them and you need to understand that they are the right judges for you. Second perspective is really the issue of what I will call comparing generations. You know, we always like to tell our children, oh, in my days, I walk 6 miles barefoot in the snow. Uphill, by the way. Even though, for example, in Memphis, we don't really have hills. Okay? But we used to say it to the children so they will appreciate what they have. And probably we heard the same thing from our parents and from their parents. And everyone walked in the snow 6 miles barefoot. But when we really compare generations, there is something that we need to really think about. Can we, or should we, compare the challenges of different generations? Every generation has its own set of challenges. Sometimes it can be the same challenge in a different view, in a different shape. We learned last week about the rebellious son. Every generation had a teenager. Every parent had to deal with a teenager. And every teenager is a case. Every teenager is a project. So, yes, in today's generation, it's very open. It's very challenging. But I'm sure that we were, as teenagers, also a challenge to our own parents and vice versa. So basically, when we compare generations, we need to try to be honest with ourselves. And we need to be very knowledgeable about everything that happened in the last generation and everything that is taking place right here, right now in our generation. Let's take even the challenges that Israel is now facing. Tremendous challenges. Between all the countries of the Middle East, we thought that at least 2 of them, if not even 3, Jordan, Egypt, and Turkey, are more often allies to Israel. And unfortunately, Turkey is obviously not a great ally right now. Egypt is very challenging. And also Jordan is obviously a huge concern for all of us. And you can get scared and you can say, oh my gosh, it's terrible. And 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we never experienced something like that. And the Iranians are developing their nuclear reactor and Hamas is so strong and Hezbollah. And we never had something like that. But when you go just 63 years before to 48, when the Jewish population was only 600,000 Jews in Israel, and we got just tiny little part of what we have right now, and we said thank you to the United Nations, and we celebrated for a day our independence, and then the day after, 6 Arab militaries came and attacked us. It was a huge challenge. It was a challenge that many, many people, close allies to Israel, told David Ben-Gurion, don't do it. You will be destroyed. There's no way you will be able to overcome the challenge. And he did it. And with God's help, and with our efforts and blood, we won. But the challenges of 48 was existential threats to the state of Israel, the newborn state. No equipment, no military equipment, no people. And with God's help, we did it. So when you compare challenges, I'm not sure that our challenge in 2011 is harder, stronger, more challenging than the 48. I'm sure people in 48 had the same feelings that we have now. We need to understand and go back to our first verse. El hashofet asher yeh bayamim hahem, to the judge in those days. This is the leadership that we have. This is the situation that we are facing. How should we deal with that? We should not have longing to days that are not here anymore. We need to look at the present time with strong, open eyes and be optimistic for a better future. Don't compare generations, says the Talmud. Every generation had its own set of challenges. But in every generation, they found a way to overcome it. Can we do the same? That's the question for this week. Thank you.